Everyone wants to know, how do you make your soil? It's not my soil. It's from Gary Matsuoka. And he has his own YouTube channel. You should be watching him, but you're not. You're watching me. I'm going to keep talking until you click off. But first, let's talk about why is it the best soil? Well, let's talk about what's not the best soil. This is not the best soil. This is pretty much any raised bed or container mix that you can get from your big box store. Let's turn it over and see what's in it. All right, so let's see what exactly is in here. Processed forest products, recycled forest products. All right, so basically what we have there is when you're making 2x4s and other wood stuff, you're going to have a bunch of leftover stuff that you can't sell. It's a byproduct. They chop that crap up, they recycle it, and they put it in your potting soil. Okay, what else do we have in here? Arbor fines, humus, rice hulls, composted dairy manure, so basically cow poop. And you got some perlite, some lime for the pH, and some organic fertilizer. And okay, I think we've seen enough. Basically, you got a bunch of dead stuff in here. But in my opinion, having a bunch of dead stuff in here, you might as well have a bunch of diesel fuel or cyanide in here. It's about as good for your plant. Here's a cute little dragon fruit plant. This has been in this pot for like 2 or 3 years. Notice the level of the soil. It's about, right here. It didn't start out that high. It used to be about that high, but over the last couple years it's decomposed and now there's basically nothing left in it. Look at all these little wood chips. Look at that. Look at the root ball. You can basically see the root ball was this size when I put it in this pot with this soil. The soil has decomposed around it and there is really no growth. Look, you can just pull this thing right out and it barely rooted in at all. This thing hasn't done anything for 2, maybe even 3 years. I don't remember. This one wasn't so lucky. Let's see, how much root ball do we have? It tried to root into there, but didn't like the taste of that crap. Look at this thing. Yeah, look at that. Here's a kumquat. It's been in this pot for a couple years. It's still alive. It looks okay. It doesn't look great, but it looks okay. But look at the soil level. This had soil up to about right here. It's dropped probably 2 to 3 inches. This is a Batman mask because I have kids. Look at the roots. Completely exposed. I had the soil level a lot higher than this. It's dropped down. Not only has the soil level dropped, but the actual plant and the root ball has dropped with it. Look at it leaning. I don't know if you can see that, but that sucker wasn't leaning when I put it in. So I went to killing plants to saving plants. Now I can buy plants on clearance for basically pennies on the dollar and I can save them. Here's a mango tree I recently saved. I bought this sucker for almost nothing. Big old massive trunk on this guy, but it had dieback disease and it was almost dead. I'm gonna put up a picture on the screen so you can see what it looked like before I changed the soil. The only thing I did to this plant was change the soil. And we just went through summer. The hottest part of Phoenix is over and it's still alive. This thing should be dead. Now I know what you're saying, Ryan. You got brown tips. Well, hey, don't judge a Phoenician by his brown tips. We live in the Salt River Valley. Our water is so salty you can taste it. This is getting water with tap water. I'm gonna have some brown tips. Here's a mango growing in my greenhouse. It gets watered with RO water. Notice, no brown tips. Here's a jaboticaba that I saved not too long ago. This sucker was a 25-gallon jaboticaba, and it was just about dead. And I bought it for 75 bucks for a 25-gallon, and all I did was change the soil and prune it back. Look at it now. Woo-wee! Look at that pretty growth. 6 more months, maybe a year. This thing is going to flush out completely. She's going to be pretty. Okay, let's get on with it. Let's make some soil. So you can mix it in a wheelbarrow, or you can mix it in one of these gorilla carts, or I've even seen people mix it in a tarp. They just literally throw a tarp on the ground and mix it up right on the ground. Or you could be like me and mix it in one of these bad boys. Honestly, this is too small. Need something bigger. So here's our ingredients. It's really not that hard. You can buy all this stuff from the Home Depot. We've got peat moss, and we've got perlite. You want to get the large, coarse perlite. We've got decomposed granite. Sand works fine too. And you got pumice. You want to get the large, coarse pumice. I'm not sure what size, but they're pretty big chips. I'll show you later. This was the hardest one for me to find, but I found it local at a nursery. So you're going to need a mask. Better yet, you're going to need a respirator. Don't be stupid like me for like 2 years and hold your breath and run as fast as you can. If you're going to get a mask, you need to get this one. N95. This bad boy will trap 95% of the particles in the air. If you're going to get a respirator, you got to get P100. That's what you need for concrete dust, rock dust, silica dust, P100. Very important. But if you want to be extra careful, then you put on both. Okay, let's get down to the nitty gritty. We're going to talk percentages. All right, so you're going to do 35% peat moss. Then you're going to do 30% horticultural large pumice. Then you're going to do 20% horticultural large coarse perlite. Then you're going to do 10% decomposed granite or sand. But wait, that only adds up to 95%. You're right, because this one is optional. 5% charcoal. Now, I get this stuff from a dude on Facebook. Did you see that mosquito trying to bite me? Where'd he go? Come on, buddy, I dare you. You may not be able to get this stuff so easy. If you can't, you don't have to put it in. If you can, you should put it in. It just helps to not wash out the minerals and nutrients so fast. Minerals and nutrients will catch onto this stuff and it'll stay in your potting soil longer. But you don't have to have it. Okay, so let's get to mixing while we still have some sun. Okay, so you don't have to be exact. Let's not overthink this. 1 shovelful equals 10%. So for the peat moss, we need 35%. That's going to be 3.5 shovelfuls. It's not rocket science. Three shovelfuls of perlite. Let's go. Two shovels of pumice. And here I'm just showing you how large the pumice is. That was nice to do, wasn't it? And we're going to do 1 shovelful of decomposed granite or sand. So here's the charcoal. Gary says you only need about 2% of this, but he puts 5% in his mix. But it's pretty expensive stuff, so you only need just a tiny bit. I'm not even going to measure it. I'm just throwing in 2 handfuls. Okay, let's take a quick look in here before we mix it up. Let's see, sand, charcoal, perlite, and you got some pumice. And at the bottom is the peat moss. Okay, you're still with me. Good. Now let's talk about extra credit. So that soil doesn't have any calcium in it. So if you don't have calcium in your water already, you might want to put in some azomite, rock dust. I've got a lot of calcium in my water, a lot of minerals like we talked about before, so I don't really need it, but I still like to put a little bit in anyways. So for the azomite, you basically just have to figure out how much soil you're going to make. Let's say you're going to make 5 gallons of soil because you're going to plant a 5-gallon plant. And then right here it says 2 to 3 tablespoons of azomite per gallon. So go ahead and mix in 10 to 15 tablespoons of azomite. I'm only going to do 1 per gallon. So that soil does not have any living life in it. And that's what we like about it. But we don't necessarily want 0 living life. We just don't want any dead stuff in there. So this is fertilizer, and it contains beneficial microbes. It's called BioLive, and you can buy this pretty much any garden center. Okay, right here, containers for new plantings add 1/4 to a 1/2 cup per gallon of soil. So if you're working on a 5-gallon plant, you're going to take 5 times 0.25, and that comes up with 1.25 cups. And if you wanted to go on the heavy end, you could just double it. So that would be 2.5 cups of BioLive. So this stuff will get the beneficial microbes started in your potting soil. But this takes a long time to take off, and these guys are going to multiply and replenish. Oh, my LED lights just turned on. That's cool. But they take a while. So we need to go ahead and do some other fertilizer in the meantime, and that's what we got the Osmocote extended release for. Okay, so this is Osmocote Plus. This is 8 to 9 month extended release. They're basically little fertilizer pellets. Right there, there's a little scooper and some little pellets. And you're probably not going to buy a bag this big, but you can get smaller bags of 6 month Osmocote at any Home Depot, Lowe's, Amazon. You can get it pretty much anywhere. Just follow the instructions on the bag. It'll tell you how many scoops per gallon of container of soil. And you don't have to mix this stuff in the soil. You can always just go ahead and pot your plant into the soil and then top dress the fertilizer pellets on top. Okay, so some people like to put in mycorrhiza, the fungus, into the mix. You don't have to do that. It's already in the soil when you go to put your plant in the ground. So I would recommend not putting it in. I like to actually put it on my root ball. When I go to plant my plant into the ground, I'll put some mycorrhiza on the root ball itself before I plant it. Look at how beautiful that is. So there you have it, guys. Now you know how to make your own top pot potting soil. You don't have to drive to California anymore. I just saved you a long road trip. So now you can make it just like my 4-year-old, all by yourself. I'm going to go make a ton of that stuff right now. So any questions, comment below. I'll talk to you guys later. See you soon.